Welcome to the Upshot, Old Hero Disc Golf's podcast about the latest in the disc golf world. I'm the editor, Charlie Eisenhood. Joining me is Josh Mansfield on this vacation edition of the Upshot. It is, what day is it? Thursday, June 26th. Josh, I'm in Spain. Mm-hmm. I'm having an Estrella Galicia right now.
Nice.
You're in Mexico. Where in Mexico are you?
Spanish Coke. I'm in Cancun.
Spanish Coke? Okay, all right. You got that good sugar in there.
That's right.
It tastes better. It's hard to say.
It really does. It really does.
You got to get the glass bottle one, though. It's better in the glass bottle.
I got to find one. There wasn't the Spanish Coke. The cans were what was in my mini bar, so that's what I took. But I'll see what I can find.
I'm actually not really on vacation. I am in Spain. I'm in Logroño, which is in the La Rioja region. And as far as I can tell, what they do here is eat tapas and drink €2 glasses of wine. And I don't know if people work, but like, it's definitely nice here. Like, this is one of the cheapest places to eat good food and have good like wine and beer that I've ever been in my life. Besides like Southeast Asia. I'm shocked that I'm in Europe.
I never would have guessed that.
It's like €2 for tapas. And literally,
that's crazy.
I'm overstating it. A glass of wine is like less than €2, and a bottle is like €8. It's crazy. Anyway, we have some disc golf to talk about, don't we?
Oh, I guess we do. Yeah.
Josh and I were pretty locked in. We did daily rapid reacts between the two of us over the course of the entire U.S. Women's Disc Golf Championships this past weekend. And what a tournament. Over in Wisconsin, and we're calling for chalk. Josh and I are both chalking it up with, Silva, Missy, Kristen, and then we got no chalk. There was definitely not chalk. Instead, Eveliina Salonen gets a one-shot win over Cadence Burge and Haley King, and it's Eveliina's fourth major title and her third in the last year, basically. A little bit more than a year if you date back to last year's Champions Cup. Unbelievable run from Eveliina once again. Just able to take advantage. And we said this in the preview, Josh. I feel like there was like a throwaway line in the preview show where I was like, listen, Eveliina and Henna, if they can just throw the disc great and they don't have to putt much, they could totally win this tournament. Well, that's what happened.
That's exactly what happened. And it almost was Eveliina and Henna throwing great, not putting.
I mean, Henna played awesome until the final round, right?
Yeah. Yep. If she shoots, because what? So Henna was at 14 under, so she's averaging 4 and change over the course, under par, over the course of the first 3 rounds. If Henna shoots like 4 under par in the final round, just below what she was averaging, she scores 18 down and wins.
Yeah,
but what if is up?
But let's be honest, right? Like, one of Henna's problems has clearly been that she shrinks in the big spots.
Yes.
And like, if you weren't convinced of that before, you have to come away from this weekend feeling that, because I thought she played well in the wind in round 3, and then kind of no-showed round 4.
Mm-hmm. Not kind of no-showed. I mean, she had the worst round until 19th. Another player who, Lucky Lorenzen, was playing well early on and then kind of digressed as the tournament went on. But I mean, Henna's round was tough. But here's something that's actually really interesting. That when you were talking about Henna and the fact that, in addition to Henna's putting woes, we've seen Henna kind of shrink when the moment gets big. It's interesting that Eveliina feels more like a consistently poor putter, not a under pressure poor putter.
Yes.
I can't think of examples. I don't think Eveliina's one. Like, Eveliina doesn't putt well.
I'll tell you.
Okay.
I'll tell you.
Whoa.
The one,
Okay.
So you know what I'm going to say.
I know what you're going to say.
European Championships when she started her yips.
Yep.
What, 3 years ago? Final round, she's in control, disaster fest, and then she had the yips for like 2.5 years.
Yeah, yeah.
And I would say that basically she's overcome the yips. Now, that doesn't mean she's become a great putter.
No.
But she's not four putting from 10 feet like we saw 2 years ago. I mean, I've been on the broadcast when she's had some just shock moments. But you're right. It's more of a consistently subpar putting. You think back to Worlds last year, she did not putt very well.
No.
But she won anyway because she's parked enough holes and made enough of the C1 bunnies that it was enough.
And she didn't melt in that final round.
Exactly. And I think she's actually pretty clutch as a player for someone who's not a good putter.
Yes, I think that's a great point because we often associate clutch with being able to make putts when you're nervous.
Yes.
But
she hits her drives when she's nervous.
Yes. And to that point, I think Holland is an example of a player that we see who sometimes, when the nerves get to her, it's the drive that can leave her, or certain throws that leave her.
The forehand gets a little squirrely.
And so even when Holland's putting okay, when she gets kind of nervous, like that's what you see. But that doesn't happen to Eveliina. Now, I do think, wasn't there a case recently when, maybe it was that European tournament, but was that 2 years ago when she gave up 8 strokes in the final round?
At European Open?
I don't remember. Didn't that happen
That happened at European Open.
Was that? Okay.
She and Silva both played very, very poorly. I mean, Eveliina had a horrendous round.
Yeah,
and Silva didn't play particularly well. And
that's when Kristen came back and charged and won it.
Kristen charged back from 7 strokes back or whatever it was.
That's right. Yeah. So I mean, it's not a flawless narrative by any means, but I really think that Eveliina demonstrates, and even hole 18, for example, Eveliina just executed it so cleanly. No pressure, no stress. And I mean, Haley didn't play it well, but that hole 18 was really what showed the mental of Eveliina, even after missing a putt that was a good putt. She putted well at hole 17 when she missed that putt, but she misses a putt and it's okay, here's the moment. This on hole 18 is where Eveliina could run into problems again. And she just didn't, again and again and again. I was really, really impressed with Eveliina this past week.
By the way, Josh, I don't think I actually ever said why I'm here. Maybe I mentioned it on the pod earlier, but I'm at the under-24 Ultimate World Championships in Spain. And it has been hot. So hot. Is it hot in Mexico? I feel like the ocean keeps it pretty temperate.
I would say it's humid, but it's in the 80s.
Normal.
So, yeah. I don't
hot in the United States right now, too.
It was hot in Utah. It was triple digits.
There goes Rex, one of our camera operators. So, by the way, I'm here this is a World Flying Disc Federation tournament. They are the governing body for international disc sports, although, we've discussed before, the PDGA, WIFDIF, it's been a little bit of a weird, rocky relationship over the years. And I think fairly so, because the PDGA is hey, WIFDIF, could you do anything for disc golf, please? Finally, they're actually doing stuff for disc golf. I have, for debut today, the World Games lineup, all the countries and the athletes representing those countries in August in China, at what is going to be a very interesting reintroduction of disc golf to the World Games.
All right. I love it.
So we will break the news here on the Upshot of who's playing in that tournament.
Charlie, I've got a question for you. Has anybody besides us talked about the fact that disc golf is back
I don't think anyone even knows besides us and the players who are going to China. But the world number ones are both playing. So right off the top, it's not going to be total garbage.
Sure. And we've talked about it's important. It's important in the long run for disc golf.
I think that we get back into that opportunity for disc golf to start to get a foothold in not only international sports in a meaningful, bigger way towards Olympics and all that stuff. But also to get a big spotlight in China and in a part of the world where actually Ultimate has become very popular, I would say. I mean, I think there's a case to be made that Ultimate Frisbee is more popular in China than anywhere on Earth from just like a straight up like participation and like
Wow.
growth standpoint, because it just absolutely boomed after COVID. So disc golf has this chance now, right, in a part of the world where like there is some disc golf, right? You know, we have stuff
Sure.
in Japan for sure, and there's the big tournament every year in Thailand. There's stuff, but like obviously there's a lot of growth to happen. So we'll get to that later on. We're going to be talking European Disc Golf Championships as well, which started today. It's like happening now. I think MPO is playing their first round right as we speak. It's 6 o'clock Central European time right now. So maybe they finished their round right about
Just
now.
wrapping up then, yeah.
So anyway, back to the topic at hand. I mean, let's talk a little bit about the tournament itself. And the Big Four was the big narrative coming in, and that got completely exploded by maybe some people we should have been giving more attention to. Now, we definitely talked about Haley King because we were in Wisconsin. She's won in Wisconsin before at US Women's. She was in the field, and let's be honest, she played great.
She played great.
Now, I know she faltered a little bit down the stretch, and we can talk about 18, but she looked like the kind of player that we have seen besides the putting, right? Like, she was a little off with the putter, especially the last couple of days, and she said she was dealing with some sciatica pain, so that's tough. But
Yeah.
I was impressed with her play, and obviously the Finns came back from like 6 weeks of not playing and looked like the best players in the field.
Yeah. The European disc golf, European FPO narrative is alive and well right now. Because even though Silva, Kristen have off weekends, they still both finish inside top 10. You have 4 of your top 10 are European FPO players, which is always just so exciting to see. The Haley thing is just so it re-aggravates me that Haley doesn't play more disc golf because she is phenomenal. She's phenomenal. Like, we could have an era right now that is dominated with Haley King and Gannon Burr at the top of like superstar narratives in both divisions. She's so talented.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I don't really know how to predict when Haley will show up and play well and when she will look like she's completely rusty and hasn't played in weeks. You tell me. It's not necessarily that she plays great at the majors, though she sometimes plays great at the majors. And it's not necessarily that it's like when she plays in Wisconsin, although we're starting to get a little bit more credence for like when she, and in some ways, it makes sense. She is not on tour working on her game and getting sharp the way other players are, right? Because she's skipping a lot of tournaments.
Yep.
But when she plays courses that she knows well, which she's played these courses many times, who knows, maybe hundreds of times, she's able to deliver the kind of performance that you could expect from someone with her level of talent. Now, the thing is, I think and I'm going to let you make this point because I think you've been the one really that you talked about in the reacts. I think maybe some of her lack of time on tour this season showed on 18.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I think too. And I think it shows and it manifests itself in a couple of ways. Number one, and as you talked about, Charlie, regardless of whether or not because you could hypothetically play a lot of disc golf, not on tour, and still throw the right shots, putt well, have the skills, right? All that,
sure,
definitely possible. She could, I know she's working out. I know she's trying to stay sharp, so she's doing work. Like, it's not like she's like sitting at home, not doing anything disc golf related, obviously. But the golf element, and especially on courses that are designed for the right, like that are designed well, that encourage golf decisions, really showed. So hole 18, she drives. Drive is poor. It's too low. It's a bad drive.
Out of position.
You talked about a lot about this, right, Charlie, and about this drive and the problems that created for her. So this drive's low. She is now kind of behind this tree. Evelina's in prime spot.
Oh,
but
a couple of sick drives from Eveliina down the stretch of this tournament, by the way.
Yes. Back to that whole clutch Eveliina point. So Haley is behind this tree and has a line, has an opportunity to still go for birdie. It is an eagleable hole. Eveliina in prime position for that eagle. But it's not an easy eagle. That green is guarded. Eveliina doesn't always make circle one putts. Like, I would not be sitting here if I'm Haley and going, Evelina's 100% going to eagle, I must go for it. So
I mean, there was only one eagle in the final round.
Like, they talked about it a lot.
One eagle in the third round.
So
Sophia Donachie got into the third round, and then Valerie Mondahano got in the final round. So, like, it is eagleable.
Absolutely.
But not an easy eagle.
No. And so at this point, I think that Haley should be playing, assuming Eveliina birdies. And Haley should say, what does it take for me to get a birdie? And then she tries to throw this hero shot, like crazy high Annie in a tailwind that is like downhill, just so hard with OB left and right. Like, I don't blame Haley at all for that drive going OB, or that shot going OB. What a difficult level of execution required to pull that off. The question is, why does she attempt it? Why not pitch out, and not even pitch, like throw a 250-foot shot? You then are leaving yourself, it's difficult, it's probably 300 plus feet up shot into the green. It's probably a hard third shot. I guarantee there is no shot harder than the one she tried to execute. She goes OB, Eveliina gets to play for par, doesn't even have to sweat. It was such a poor decision. It was such a poor golf decision.
Yeah, I mean, I said on the rapid reacts that there's the tee shot that let her down. But, like, the more I've thought about it, the more it's, like, clear to me that a 4 was still possible.
Yeah.
Maybe even probable with, like, a very conservative forehand second shot where you were just trying to get into a position to approach the green. And, I mean, at least, at worst, you're giving yourself, like, a circle's edge putt after your third shot. So, by going OB, you really just take yourself out of any chance to win without, like, hitting a miracle putt from there. So, I think it's a disappointing mistake.
Yeah.
But I think you see the nerves there a little bit. And Eveliina, and I was starting to make this point earlier, and I'm not sure that I really made it coherently. She is such a gamer. Like, she's in the interview talking about how she loves these pressure moments. Mm-hmm. And how can you argue with that? Look at the track record. She's 26 years old. She's won her fourth major, Konopiste, and then a while ago, right? With a very limited field.
18, I think.
So, maybe that's like a little bit of a questionable major level win. But now she has a Champions Cup, a Worlds with everybody there, and now this U.S. Women's with basically everybody there.
All legitimate. Super legitimate.
And at this age, for her to have these kinds of wins, now, I mean, maybe it's not Paige Pierce levels of dominance, but she's now the 9th most winningest major FPO player of all time. She's tied for 9th. Yep. And she's only 26. And she's throwing the disc better than anybody on the planet besides maybe Henna, who is so woeful on the putting green that she may never be able to win. What's amazing about Henna is that she almost putted really bad and still had a chance to win, kind of like Eveliina did at Worlds.
Okay. No, what's amazing about Henna is that Henna was putting somewhat bad, not horrific, because she's made changes to her putt.
Thank God. She finally did it.
Charlie cracked a Spanish beer open for that. He's like, hey.
I wish I had this one to open now. Listen, how long have we been talking about this? I guess she needed to get married
5
first.
years, I guess.
Congratulations, by the way, on the marriage.
Yes.
I feel like there is hope yet for the Henna fans out there. Because when we her problem in the final round was not that the putter abandoned her. She was having a hard time. I mean, listen, she didn't putt great, but she wasn't throwing it very well. That was the problem.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't throw it the same way that she did the first 3 rounds.
No, you're right. You're right.
So, you know, you look at the stats, you're not going to see a great performance from her. But watching it, it looked better. She was making more circle 2 putts because she was, instead of trying to be a push putter, which just doesn't seem to come naturally to her, she was spinning the putt more like a throw, and she looked way more dangerous from 30 feet and out. Whereas before, it was like absolutely hopeless. I mean, once in a blue moon, she would drop one in on hyzer, but now it actually looks like she could make those putts sometimes. And she wasn't 4-putting. She wasn't 3 and 4 putting the same way that we've seen her in the past. And that's been the other thing. It's like a lot of times you just want to say, hey, you're at 25 feet, just lay up, please. Mm-hmm. Like, stop burning strokes for no reason. And it feels like she did make some progress on those things and at least put herself in a position to win, even though she didn't come through and play well in the final rounds.
You know, and let me give you 2 other things that I think are important here. Number 1 is that Henna did not miss, according to the stats, a circle 1 designated putt. Not C1X, but inside of C1X.
Inside of the 15 feet radius, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Do you know how big of a deal that is? Do you know how many strokes, 3, 4, 5 strokes some tournaments that Henna gives up inside of 15 feet? Like, eliminating that is going to make her a more competitive putter. Already,
100%.
That's a huge change. Here's the other big point. Henna was not the worst putter. And she wasn't, I mean, again, like, you know, assuming all the stats are correct, like, Henna was not the worst in terms of strokes gained. Honestly, she's bottom 3rd, but we're used to seeing Henna at the bottom of the list, and that was not the case this weekend.
Yeah, so C1X on the season, she's 51 and 5, C1X, C2. And she's 81 overall from C1. Okay, so that includes those
that
was
on the season?
Putts. That's on the season.
So that's about what she putted today, or this weekend. 81, 53, and 14.
But 14 versus 5, I know it's a small sample size, but that's basically like 2 extra shots.
Yep.
And I don't know, I'm telling you, it's just the eye test says that she looked a little bit improved.
And it's so funny because I usually make fun of DGN commentators who say, like, oh, that was a good-looking putt every time she misses a 16-footer, right? Like, oh, at least you know, it looked good. And I'm like, she missed 16 feet. No, it didn't. This is the time that, like, I'm with you, Charlie. I really care more about how it looked and the fact that we had a change and that we have, like, a path forward. And that is so encouraging. It's so encouraging.
And sorry, let me take it back because I was looking, the 51 and 5 is correct.
Okay.
The 81% C1 putting, that was from this weekend. I was looking at the wrong page for that one. There is not a listed Circle 1 putting stat on the DGPT website. Let me click into her profile and see if it gives that. These are the kinds of things I want to be able to do more. It's like dig a little deeper. Here it is. C1. No, I'm wrong. That's C1X. Damn it. No, it's just they don't have it. I mean, the data exists. Maybe I'll get somebody from Statman or the PDGA to send it over because I bet it's lower than that.
Yeah.
Because she's normally missing like 10 footers on a regular basis.
She is. Yeah, no, missing 0 is not the regular.
What do you make of Kristen's performance?
Man,
or Missy, for that matter.
Sure.
Or anybody from the Big Four, for that matter.
I have no clue what to make of Missy's performance. Missy was the only one from the Big Four who got forked round 1. And we were like, oh, yeah, round 1, okay, like, Missy's done. Like, thanks for coming. Your weekend's over. You're out. See you later.
Yeah, it was a combination of bad shooting and bad luck, and it was ugly.
It was ugly. Holland, Holland's done this a couple of rounds or a couple tournaments where she hasn't had the best start and she's gotten up and gotten into her 5th place finish.
She did it again.
She did it again. She hasn't missed top 5. So, this Holland starts a little slow, but nothing crazy like kind of the other ones. Kristen, I'm trying to decide how much to ascribe to the physical ailments that she's described, like her illness, being just like exhausted and worn out because she's been sick, the hurt toe. And I don't know, and I know we're going to talk a little bit more about European Disc Golf Championships that are happening right now, but Kristen just came out in round 1 and took a 5-stroke lead on the field after round 1. That doesn't bode well for everybody else at the European majors.
No.
So I'm not willing to panic over Kristen and Silva finishing 6th and 8th, even though they had one bad round in the woods.
Yeah, it was just weird energy from Kristen on the weekend, but
it was
kind of coming into the weekend. I was worried about that to some extent. You just don't always have it. I don't know.
I know. And honestly, there's been times when when the energy feels off with Kristen, the interviews are a little off. I think that's we tend to see her not play well.
Will Kristen win a major this season?
Yes.
You want to pick which one? Got 2 left, plus throw pink. We got 3 left.
I mean, I think she wins European Open again.
Yeah. Probably.
Kristen could win both European majors. She should win European Open. She could win both European majors. She could win throw pink as well.
When you say European Open, do you mean Worlds?
Sorry. Yes, I do mean Worlds. I mean Finland. I mean Worlds.
I do the same thing sometimes.
Yes, I think that she is going to win Worlds.
She should. She's going to be the favorite for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. Other topics I want to hit here. Cadence Burge.
Welcome.
I was a low key hater. Hater's the wrong word. I was a skeptic that we should be talking about such a young player as some forthcoming star at the beginning of the season, because somebody emailed us and was like, "You better be watching," and I was like, "Whatever."
Not somebody,
years.
4 people. She took 10th and 10th, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Cadence Burge," and you and I both were like, "No, chill out." And then she took 38th. She took 38th at Open at Austin.
We got up on our soapbox.
Yeah. We're like, you all are a bunch of jokers. Since then, 5th, 2nd, 19th, 3rd, 2nd, including at the major.
Crazy.
I'm sorry. We owe formal apologies to everybody who wrote in and said Cadence is the real deal, and we did not listen.
Cadence, unsurprisingly, best ever FPO major showing for her. Previous best was 11th. Here's a list of players who also cashed and had their best showing. Ready? Emily Weatherman finished 6th. Previous best was 12th. Sophia Donachie, 12th. Danny Clyden, 16th. Rebecca Dawn finishes 18th at her first FPO major.
Another name we might need to start paying attention to. That's 2 weeks in a row we've started talking about her.
Taylor Chosick, 25th. Lexi Marks, 27th. And another player playing in their first FPO major, Marie Kielas. So, congrats to all those players for playing so well. Some very exciting up-and-coming talent right now in FPO.
Yeah, there really is. That's for sure. Should we hit the other winners?
Let's hit the winners, and then I want to talk a little bit more about Eveliina before we move on.
Okay, let's do it.
So you want to run us through the winners? Let's go.
Yep,
I'm gonna tournament. There's a lot of divisions.
A lot of divisions. So buckle up, everybody. FP40, we've got Jen Allen, who wins in a playoff above Holly. That was over Holly Finley.
People were saying they should stream that. I'm like, they really should stream that. They should do FP40 in the morning and FPO in the afternoon, and do it like it's a regular FPO tournament.
Well, and I'll be honest, there's
FP40 about to be heat.
FP50 is starting to get heat too. Sexton, Germ, I might be kind of fun to watch. Juliana Korver wins by a stroke in FP50. Nova Polite, is it Polite? I don't remember actually. I don't remember how to say her last name.
I don't know that I've ever heard it said.
I haven't either.
I think it's Polite, but I don't know.
I'm gonna go Polite. I apologize, Nova. I know I've read it everywhere, and I know she is, but Nova Polite wins the FP55 division. Chris O'Leary wins FP60. Lori Cloyes Chupa wins FP65. Brianna Vandergreit wins FA1. Amy Whitmore wins FA40 by 24 strokes.
Wow. Maybe time to move to pro.
It might be. I don't know. FA40. I don't know if I'd move to FP40 right now with Jen Allen still. Yeah,
right. Let me get my free discs, please.
Yeah, stay there. Enjoy.
I'm not going to become a donator.
That's right. Linda Ray wins FA50. Kimberly Adams wins FA55 in a playoff. FA60, Janet Cranshaw. FA70, Patty Adams wins in a playoff. FA2, Kendall Sullivan. FA3, Jeanette Scribner. FA4, Megan Easton. FJ18, Ava Meyer. FJ15, Haley Huber. FJ12, Ava Lutsenko. FJ10, Sarah Wadsworth wins by 58 strokes. She shot 2 over par. Eva Lutsenko also shot 20 strokes better than next. And we had someone write in because she shot a 960 event rating in the FJ12 division.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah.
We got multiple Ava Lutsenko emails.
Yeah, we did.
So, let's see. Haley Huber shot a 10-10 round. Lutsenko beat her by 3 strokes from the same tees. So, playing the same tees as all the junior divisions, she would have won every single junior division, including FJ18, by a mile. By rating, she would have won all other divisions except FPO. Obviously, it's not a totally fair comparison because of the layout changes, but we've been talking about Julia Fours. I think maybe we need to talk about Ava Lutsenko.
Yeah, I think so too. That's crazy that she had a better rated tournament than Jen Allen.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
Beat Jen Allen by 4 rating points on the tournament.
Now, we talked a little bit about this on the Reacts, and there's been some chatter because I feel like this was a really good U.S. women's, and we've given some serious heat to the PDGA in the past over just like doing a bad job at this tournament, and whether you want to call it the PDGA's fault or the local organizers' fault or whatever. To me, the buck stops with the organizing body.
Yep.
And this went well. Now, I'm sure there was definitely some FPO complaining about the courses. But I thought they were appropriate. I thought it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I think that I wouldn't have a problem coming back to these courses. It's a good technical challenge. The question that came up was basically, does this mean we need to keep U.S. Women's as a major? Because, you and I, Josh, have talked about making USDGC a dual division tournament and making that the U.S. championship.
Yep.
I basically come to this point. I understand the legacy of this tournament, how important it is for women in disc golf to have their own high-profile event on a weekend by itself, where all eyes on FPO. And I think I'm mostly just in favor of making it five majors. In fact, you could even keep calling this the U.S. Women's.
Yeah.
And then you just call the other one Throw Pink, and it's a major now.
Yes.
Which it already feels like one. So all you're really doing is changing the designation. And what's the problem? 5 majors. Okay.
Yes.
We've already talked about in the past how the LPGA has an extra major compared to the PGA. So it's not even like this is some crazy unprecedented thing or that it's complicated or confusing, because it's not.
Nope. I completely agree. I think that's absolutely the way it should be. I will say, if this tournament is ever run like it was in California back in 2019 again, I will be calling for this to stop being a major.
You don't want to play a pitch and putt for a major?
Oh, on 3 courses for 4 rounds? That was clownery. So, listen, if they keep doing it like Wisconsin, And as some of our Utah listeners have said, they say Utah's going to be phenomenal as well. I'm hyped for Utah. I think it should be great.
That's barely even you just buried the lead. That's barely been news.
That's true.
But it's true. Salt Lake City 2026 U.S. Women's just announced.
Yeah. Has it not been? I guess I kind of forget.
I don't know. I believe
I don't know how long.
I don't think it was common knowledge until this past weekend.
Okay. I didn't know because I thought the bid had been announced. I've known for a little bit longer. And so I guess I kind of forgot that it was like news and more people are finding out. But like, I really think, I hope, and I'm excited for the courses. I think it'll be great. But it's just, it's.
I think I'm just wrong, Josh.
Because it was announced with the major.
Yeah, no, it came out in February. February.
All right, Charlie.
I guess I forgot.
They did do like a hype video. They did a hype video this weekend.
They didn't say anything about Champions Cup, so I was conflating the two things.
Got it. Okay. So anyway, back to our Utah news. News. The lead that I buried. I'm excited for it, and as long as this tournament keeps being run to the level that a major should be, I have no problem with 5 majors. I am gonna yell if it doesn't get a good treatment, though.
Very fair. Okay, last thing before we go to break. I want to talk about Eveliina's legacy. Now 4 majors.
Yeah.
I think with this win, we have to start considering whether she has been the best player of the last year and a half. Beginning of 2024 through now. And I completely understand if you think she's not, but she has to be in the conversation given that she has won 3 of the 6 majors that have been played in that span.
So how the Champions Cup went to Eveliina. Kristen won European Open.
Yeah, and it was last year that Eveliina blew it, right? That she should have won it, and she blew it.
Eveliina wins Worlds. Missy wins U.S. Women's. Who won Throw Pink? Did Kristen win Throw Pink last year?
Why can't I remember?
Yeah, she did. Because 2023 was the Holland fiasco.
So Kristen dominated last year.
That's right. That's probably why we forgot. It's because it wasn't even close. So Kristen wins last year. And then Missy wins Champions Cup this year. Eveliina wins. I mean, by standards of majors, I see it. Like, I see the argument. It's a fair argument. It might be the right argument, to be honest. I don't know. Is Worlds enough to overcome? How many wins has Kristen had in that span?
Well, you have to pull it up on StatMando.
How many did she win last year? Did she win? Because she's won 3 this year.
Let me sort by major and elite. Hang on, I'm getting it.
Okay.
Kristen won 6 times last year. GMC, make it 7 with Throw Pink. GMC, Throw Pink, European, Crokle, Music City, Jonesboro, and Waco.
So 7 times.
Eveliina won 4 times. Worlds, Copenhagen. That was kind of a sick win. She hit that big putt. Champions Cup and Chess.com.
So Kristen's got 8 non-major wins in the same time frame. By Isaac's standard of 1 Worlds equal or 1 major equals
that's
10
not a reasonable
wins.
standard.
It's close. Like Kristen almost meets that standard, right? Like that's how much Kristen's won. I don't know if the 1 major is enough to say Eveliina over Kristen, but it's close. It's close.
Put it in simple terms. Eveliina has won 50% of the majors since the beginning of 2024. And she certainly has not been as consistent as any of the other top players, right? We want to talk about Big Four, right? She hasn't been at that level. That's why she hasn't been included in that conversation. She's also skipped a bunch of time. But when we talk about the tournaments that really matter and the history books, and when we look back on this, there's a chance that Eveliina is going to be a top 5 player all time. She's only 26.
Yeah, there is.
Or she turns 26 this year. She may still be 25. So, and you look at the top players right now, many of them are in their 30s.
Yep.
Imagine if Eveliina can keep this up. And imagine if she improves her putting. It's a wrap on everybody else.
To your point, I think it's a really interesting question between Eveliina and Kristen, but there isn't anybody else you can even have in that conversation. It's, the disrespect of the Big Four conversation leaving Eveliina out. And I get why we had it, but it is, those two definitely separate themselves over the course of the past 18 months.
I think so. I mean, it depends a little bit on like how much you're in the weeds of the week to week. Because in that sense, right, Silva, Holland arguably have been more impressive because they've been playing more consistently and they've been playing at a more consistently high level than Eveliina. But when the tournaments matter the most, Eveliina has showed up more than anybody. So what's the major wins count? 3 to Eveliina since the start of 2024.
Yep.
1 to Missy.
2 to Missy.
2 to Missy.
U.S. Women's Champions Cup. 1 plus throw pink to Kristen.
1 and throw pink.
Yeah.
Call it 2.
Call it 2.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. I think the other hard part about that conversation is like, it's hard to disassociate from the season before, with the Grand Slam from Kristen, right? It's because if you go back 2.5 years now, it's like,
listen, I'm not trying to say Eveliina should be the world number 1 right now,
but we probably should be putting more respect on her name come major time.
Clearly need to be talking at least about Big Five.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Fascinating stuff. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, for the first time and maybe only time that will ever happen, my mom will join us on the pod. My mom lives in Wisconsin, and she went to Sunday at the U.S. Women's Championship, and for all intents and purposes, she is a total normie. She has played disc golf, but she's not a disc golfer.
Yeah.
She likes sports, and she follows disc golf because I've been involved, basically. Sure. So we're going to ask her about what was it like to be on the ground, how was this as a professional sporting experience, and so forth.
Love it.
I've done no discussion with her about it. The only thing I'll read the text that I got during the tournament.
Charlie's been busy eating tapas and drinking beer. He hasn't talked to his mom.
The amount of tapas I've had here that's all I eat. All right, I'll even show it to the camera so everyone knows. Saturday, this past weekend, Kristen and Silva and other top players are choking in this event. Like open mouth emoji. Just listen to the upshot. This is 4 hours later. Just listen to the upshot. You guys were so wrong. Laughing emoji. Looks like your 10% is going to come true.
Your mom's got no chill, man.
What the hell, man? She joins us next on the Upshot. The Upshot is presented by Pound Disc Golf, makers of the best bags in the sport. You can hear everybody behind me getting hyped up about Pound bags. And they just found out this news. All 2025 stock Octothorpes are shipping now. So you can get in there, order yourself a stock Octothorpe, and it's going to go out the door. Octahauls will start shipping in July. That's just a few days from now. So stand by if you want that giant Octahaul. I'm more of a rufous guy myself, but whatever your flavor, Pound Disc Golf has the bag for you. And I promise you, you'll never go back to another disc golf bag. Check out all the options at pounddiscgolf.com. Welcome back to the Upshot. Joining me now is my mom. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Charlie.
Where are you in the world?
I am in the Dallas-Fort Worth airport, sitting on the floor.
All right. All right. Well, it's that kind of show. We're all in weird places. I'm back in my kind of weird Spanish apartment, so we'll keep it going. Um, so you live in New Holstein, Wisconsin,
Right?
small town west of Sheboygan. So the U.S. Women's Disc Golf Championships basically came to you, and you
Exactly.
went on Sunday to watch final round. You've never been to a disc golf tournament before. What did you think of your first time going to pro disc golf? And I will just preface this by saying that, you're not necessarily a disc golf expert or somebody who's like deeply been following the tour for a long time or anything.
I thought it was wonderful. I had an awesome time. And as you know, I'm recovering from knee surgery. I thought, well, maybe I can just go do a few holes and I'll be dead. Nope. I had to stay for the whole thing. So I walked the 18 holes. It was great. The weather was fantastic. We were in that heat wave, but it being down by Lake Michigan, it was a little cooler and there was a great breeze the whole time. A steady breeze that it felt like 75 the whole time.
I feel like the players would
Uh,
have preferred maybe a little less slight breeze, but
Unless, yeah, it was a little strong breeze, I would say. But it was great. I mean, I followed some of the players online for a number of years, and standing there at the first hole waiting for, I would follow the chase card and just standing there, and these famous people were right there 10 feet away from me, so that was exciting. And I mean, I was just impressed with the organization of the whole event and the announcements they made, and the guidance they gave to the spectators and the spectators themselves. We just had a nice camaraderie and everybody following the staff who led us around. I guess if you want to say any things that surprised me, because I've been to regular golf tournaments before, and there you can follow the ball, you can walk along the fairway, and you can see it from start to finish. And that's what I didn't realize with disc golf. Sometimes you see them tee off. Sometimes you just see a disc coming flying out of the woods towards the basket or just onto the fairway. So that surprised me. But it once I got used to that, it was fine. And we just saw so much great golf. I mean, it was amazingly. I was amazed by how fast they throw them. The disc. I can't tell that as much on TV as in real life.
it's so funny you say that because I feel like Josh and I say that all the time. Josh, by the way, apologizes for not being able to be here. He's literally on vacation right now, so he already made some time earlier. What like what was the vibe of this event? Because this is a very special event in that it's like only a women's tournament, and it's basically the only time the whole year that we have something like this. Um, Wisconsin seemed to be like a super supportive disc golf community in general, but like, what did you notice anything about that? Or because I know you've watched on DGN.
Right. I just thought that the crowd was great, and there were so many, I could, overhear other people's conversations, and so many fans of the different players. And I was on the chase card, Cadence was on that card, and there were some guys there just like wanting her to win, and she got real close. We didn't know as we went along what the other people's scores were, so we weren't. That was I guess, a little bit of a downside because I'm used to being able to see the scores as they go along and see where people stand. Um, our particular card, they kept up to date on the scores. They had a guy with a sign with all the scores on it for those four.
Right.
Um, but yeah, and people just, it was peaceful. It was just seemed like happy. The staff was
Did,
friendly. I think there's just a lot of.
did you?
It seemed to me. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Just
Go
seemed to,
ahead.
just it seemed like a big crowd. And I was thinking, well, this little place in Manitowoc in Wisconsin, who's going to be there? But it's a decent crowd. So a lot of people came out for that, for the women. It was nice to see.
Did you stay on the chase card the whole time, or did you eventually go watch the lead card come in on 18?
I watched the lead card come on 18. So kind of funny story. I was following. So that wasn't. That's another thing. I didn't know which holes we were on all the time because I think they were using maybe not doing everything in the exact order of that course, or I saw multiple numbers on each hole. So I wasn't sure where we were. Anyway, I'm following the guy after this one hole, and he stops us as usual, and I'm waiting, and there's like two people in front of me, and then he starts to move again towards the next hole, and I asked the people in front of me, "Are you going with him?" And they're like, "Oh no, we're in the autograph line." And so they were the first two people in the autograph line, so I was literally the third person in the autograph line at that point. I said, "Oh, I could just like stay here," but no, I went I went down, and it turned out we had already done the 18th hole, and I didn't realize it. So I went down and watched the lead card came on the 18th and saw Eveliina win. So that was fun.
Wow. So did you see, like, where were you standing when Haley threw out of bounds?
I didn't see that.
Okay.
I was
Because you were down by the
standing
green, probably.
right by the basket, yeah. So I wasn't. Now, a question from me is when Eveliina just threw it not into the basket, just threw it up to the edge so that then she would be the last person to make the basket. Does that count against as a stroke, or is that just a given thing they do?
Still a stroke.
Still a stroke.
But
Okay, so
she
she was
had enough of a lead that she was able to do that without costing herself the
okay.
tournament win, basically.
All right, I was wondering. So she was
So
just
if Haley had made the putt, then Eveliina would have needed to make the putt to win. But then since Haley missed,
but
she could
Evelyn.
just lay up.
Okay.
Yep. Um, so you're a big sports fan. You watch a ton of sports on TV. You've watched plenty of DGN. Um, what did you think of this as a sporting event? Like, is it something that you would tell like people who've never watched disc golf to go in and check out, or do you feel like you would really need to know what's going on in order to have any fun?
I would definitely tell people to check it out. I mean, it's a neat sport because the fact that you're just outside and you can move along with the players. You're not just sitting in one. Although I saw some people sitting at one hole, and just watching all the players come through there. But just being outside, and you can, anybody can get excited about watching somebody try to make a target, even if
Right.
you're new to disc golf. And there are little things along the way I had questions about, and I'd look around, see someone who might be wearing some kind of disc golf vendor wear, like a hat or something, so maybe they would be more expert and I could ask them. But
What
yes,
do you think?
absolutely.
What do you think could improve?
Um, the only, the thing at first I thought was bad, but it turned out not to be. I don't know, it was around the third hole. We came to where all the trucks were parked, all the vendor trucks and the food trucks. And I was like, well, I can't stop and go to them because I want to keep up with my chase card. And then I'm going to miss them when I come back. But I didn't realize they were actually right by the 18th hole. So we did come back to them. So that wasn't a problem. The other thing was I mentioned just not knowing the score of the other players, the other
Right.
like of the lead card. That would have, because they had asked us at the beginning to turn off our cellular data
I
to
was I
help
was
them
going to ask you that.
broadcast. So like every
Right.
once in a while I'd try to cheat and turn it on and look it up, but and then I didn't have cell service, so it didn't work anyway.
Well, you broke the stream.
That's right.
It's
And
your
everybody,
fault.
oh no.
It's, it's not a sustainable solution for them to tell everybody not to use their phone at a 5-hour event in the outside. Um, so let's see. Like, who did you have the most fun watching
I really
since you got
liked
to go check?
watching Kristen and Cadence. I guess they were my two favorites. Because I've been following Kristen. She's one of my favorites. And then Cadence has just come up in the last year or so. So exciting for her being young and watching her, and just amazing the composure she has and continued to
No
play.
questions.
So that was fun.
Were you a little starstruck, like seeing Kristen in person?
Oh, absolutely. I was like, oh, it's Kristen. Because she
Yeah, it's
literally,
kind
there
of
was
crazy.
a couple of the players were already like standing under the tent, and so I could see them. But then she came walking up, right in front of me. I'm like, so yes, I was the fangirl.
That's awesome. Um, so would you would you travel to go to a tournament, or do they need to come back to Wisconsin to get you back out there?
I would travel to a not too far away place, like within a day's drive. So maybe
Okay,
something in Illinois or Minnesota,
sure.
Iowa.
Preserve in Minnesota. I mean, you could go this weekend to Des Moines.
Except I'll be gone this weekend. But yes. Yeah, no, I would. I would. I really liked it a lot. I'm glad I did it. I was kind of hoping one of the courses they played during the weekend was Roland Ridge, which is closer to
Right.
me, and I kind of wanted to go see them play there because I knew the course, but I wanted to wait for the finals. So, but that Silver Creek
That's
was really
fair.
nice
Next
too.
time you got to go to both. You got to go to, go to day one.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure with my leg if I could walk 2 days, so
That's fair. That's
that's why I
fair.
went for one this time. But now I know I can do it.
Um, how are like the staff and people from the PDGA and the Pro Tour and all that?
They were terrific. We had one gentleman I mentioned before was holding the sign with the scores, and then we had two people holding quiet signs, and they just
Sure.
led us around. They talked to us. They were friendly. They answered questions, um, guided us well, and explained sometimes why we had to miss part of a hole and why, and where we'd end up next. Um, I talked to one gentleman from DGN, super friendly. I talked to some people at the different booths, and yeah, everything was just a very positive experience. I
Hopefully
would
you
have
didn't
liked to
name
have.
drop me too much.
I didn't. I wanted to, but I refrained myself. I did with the DGN guy, since you do DGN broadcasts. But I was, seeing all these disc vendors like, oh, and they might know Charlie. Oh, they might know Charlie. In fact,
Uh,
I did get a memento. Oh, sorry, I spilled myself here. I did get a memento because I liked the design. It is a Innova Halo Rolo disc,
okay.
and it has
Did you
a
get it
cow on
signed?
it. No, because I remember I was third in line in the autograph, and I left it, and then the line was like
It was
very,
just
very
too
long, and I
crazy.
just didn't have time to
Yeah,
wait for that. Um,
sure.
but it has a picture of a cow on the top, um, like Wisconsin, and one of the spots is actually the shape of the state of Wisconsin,
Oh, nice.
and it
Okay, so
says
they made
U.S.
some
Women's.
custom Wisconsin stuff.
Yeah, it says U.S. Women's 2025, Manitowoc, Wisconsin.
You started laying down some rollers out there.
I don't know. That's
That's
what
what
the
that
guy
disc
was
is
telling me. It
for.
was good for a beginner to do some curves.
That's true. That's true. A nice
So
understable disc.
yeah, I thought about it afterwards. Like, I know, learning from you, that Innova is not really the disc golf king, or they're more for ultimate, right? And
Other way around. I mean,
oh, I have it backwards. Okay.
Innova's the OG.
Ah, okay.
Discraft is the ultimate brand, but both are very big in
Oh,
disc
okay.
golf.
Okay. Because I see Discraft a lot. I thought that was the one. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Discraft is also very big in the area because they're based in Michigan.
Oh, okay.
But the Innova folks, some of whom listen to this podcast, will be happy to know that you bought a Rolo.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. So I went up and I saw the design, and that's what drew me to it.
There
And
you
then
go.
and I said, what kind of discs are these? Like putters or mid range. He's like, oh, this is the Rolo, this is the Halo, this is the this. And I'm like, wait. I'm a beginner. I don't know what all these discs are. So then he made his recommendation of this one for me.
That's perfect. Good sales guy. Um, all right. Well, any final thoughts on the experience overall and I mean, your ticket was like $15, right? I mean, it's like feels like almost too cheap.
Oh yeah, I would have paid more. I would have paid more. Now, of course, I wasn't
What's a
going for the whole weekend. It would have been more. But
sure?
sorry, I got a little background noise here. Oh, the one thing is the food trucks. I could have used some more food trucks. There was one that was like savory food. A Greek truck. When I got there, all their Euro meat was gone, so I didn't get that. But there was a cheesecake truck, little cheesecakes in a cup, which were awesome.
Okay,
So that's my
but
only.
they needed more food
They need some
options.
more food truck. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now I don't
it's
know what the
a
sales, how
common
they do.
complaint. A
Is
common
it
complaint.
okay?
Well, the sales must have been pretty good if the guy ran out of gyro meat, right?
That's true. That's true. And in that area, this area of Wisconsin has a lot of food truck vendors, so it seems like I should be able to get more.
All right,
I should be able to do that.
good
I'm
note.
gonna just
Good
look at
note.
my notes real fast to see if anything else I wanted to
Sounds good.
say. I think I've said everything, and I
Awesome.
just really enjoyed it, and hope other people who haven't been to a disc golf tournament will go out and try it.
Yeah. No, it's a whole different experience in person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, awesome. Well, I'm glad you had fun. I'm glad people were super welcoming. And now you got to just lock in on DGN because we got all the big European majors coming up.
Yep, I'm in. Got my
All
subscription.
right.
I'm ready to go.
Awesome, Mom. Well, have a safe flight. You're going to Albuquerque, right?
That's right.
All right. Get some
Fun.
green chili for me.
I will. All right. It's great talking to you, Charlie.
All right, Mom. You too.
See you
Thank you.
later. All right.
See you later. We'll be back on the Upshot. Welcome back to the Upshot. I'm not going to lie. I have no idea how the interview with my mom went because we're doing it later. And so we're recording this part now. So hopefully it was good. European Disc Golf Championships underway. They are literally playing right now. Nicholas Antela at this moment at 6:45 in Spain is 8 down through 12, tied for the lead with two players who are in the clubhouse. So he's on fire. Obviously, he's the favorite. And over on the FPO side, Kristen out to an early 5-shot lead over Henna Blomroos, Tinja Väisänen, and Maria Kristanadottir, who are all at 1 under. Eveliina is at even par, 6 shots back. Josh, basically all of the good European maybe every single legitimate European disc golfer is at this tournament.
Yeah.
This is like a quasi major level tournament, but only for Europeans.
Right. I mean, Kristen's talked about the importance. Remember, was it 2 or 3 years ago when Kristen had like the 13-shot lead and almost lost?
And almost blew it and was
Yeah.
like in tears coming down the 18th because she like survived the worst round she's played and maybe ever in her life.
And talked about how this was like the most important tournament for her to win that she was missing. And yeah.
So, somebody from Europe posted in our Discord about how the European Championships are a big thing in every sport in Europe. And that like this does mean a lot, even though it's not like, a DGPT event.
Well, and that it makes sense, right?
It does make sense.
The national pride, but it's also like of a close group of like people who play against each other regularly. Like
Yep.
it makes a lot of sense that this would be a big deal in all sports, including disc golf. It's got to be really, really, really important to win this event for them.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. Nicholas and Kristen may just mop everybody, but that would be, proof positive of how good they've become.
Yep.
We know how good Kristen is, and Nicholas is starting to feel like he's establishing himself as a very clear top 5 player in the world.
Have to think so. He's been so good.
Obviously, we're late to make picks. So I don't really think we're going to make picks, but I'm curious to see what happens because I think this is like an indicator of maybe some of the names we're going to want to watch over this next month and change as we go through Worlds.
I mean, think back to like European Open. I think it was 2 years ago when like I think it was you were commentating and like all the Anis were playing well and like
Rusanen, Armanen.
They play a lot of these European, even in MPO, play well enough on these courses that they know that they can be legitimate contenders for even a world championship this year.
Yep. Speaking of Europe, Josh, I think you have an announcement to make. I'm going to put you on the spot.
I do have an announcement.
Can we make this announcement now? We're going to break all kinds of stuff today.
I think so. I break like the U.S. Women's in Utah. Is that what we're breaking, Charlie?
Breaking news on the Upshot.
I think we make the announcement. I have plane tickets, so I'm going to Europe, Charlie. I am going to be going over thanks to in part Visit Estonia reached out to us and are paying for me to go over for the Estonian major. And then afterwards, I am going to be going over to Finland and staying over for the World Championship. So I'll be there for approximately 3 weeks over in Europe. I know.
What a dream.
I fly out the 15th, and then I'll be there until beginning of August. So I'm very excited. It's going to be a great time.
Oh, my God. Josh, it is going to be so hype. We're going to have to figure out our time zone stuff, but we can do it. We're doing it right now in Mexico and Spain, so we can surely figure it out.
We're so well traveled, Charlie.
Thank you to Visit Estonia and the crew of the European Disc Golf Festival for reaching out and making this possible. We're going to be doing some, we want to be fully upfront here, right? They're literally paying for Josh to fly over there and stay for that tournament.
Yep.
And so we're going to be doing like a little special about Estonian, the tournament itself, obviously, we're going to talk plenty about.
Preview
but
for
also
Worlds.
Just about like, what is it like in Estonia? I've never been to Estonia.
I haven't either. Yeah.
So we're going to be able to, and then of course you're going to head over to Finland. I was there for the European Open 2 years ago doing commentary. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it this year. But Josh, it's going to be awesome to have you on the ground. And, so just to be fully transparent, right? Like they are making it possible for Josh to head over there.
Yep.
And, we'll be able to talk some more about what it's like in Estonia. And you got to get your little video camera and phone out and take some pictures because we're going to need to see what's going on over there.
Absolutely. And this is in part because of a preview. Remember, in 2027, the World Championships are going to be held in Estonia. That was kind of the break that we announced with the majors previously, is that they have, I think for the first time in the memory I know of, gone like far enough out that they've like developed the contract with Estonia to like solidify majors and world championships out there. 2028.
Now they're going to take your tickets away if you don't get this right. It's 2029, Josh.
29. My bad. 2027 is Portland.
They canceled your tickets. They just called me.
Oh shoot.
But they have a bunch of. So they're going to do next year. They're going to be a major, like essentially in place of what would have been European Open. And remember, we had UC on,
right?
And like the future of the European Open is kind of in doubt,
right? Because of what's happening to the beast in Nokia.
2027. They're going to be a pro tour.
Okay.
2028, they're going to be a European major. 2029, they're going to be Worlds.
That's what. Okay.
They wanted to host Worlds in 2026 or 2027, but the PDGA said, no, like that's too soon to have another European Worlds. So they've come to this big agreement over many, many years. So it's very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, Josh, I can't wait to see how it goes for you in it is so nice to go to Europe in the summer.
I'm so excited.
See why people want to do it.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm going to be playing lots of courses. All of our European listeners, give me a call. Like, let's go play some disc golf. I want to play a lot of courses. It's going to be great. I'm so excited.
Oh man, we will all live vicariously. Speaking of European disc golf, it's time for me to break some more news. The World Games lineups for disc golf in Chengdu, China in August. Mm-hmm. So again, just to keep people up to speed who are not regular listeners, the World Games is like a non-Olympic sport. Olympics is the way to think about it. It's like for the cast-offs.
Right.
So it's for now, lacrosse, flag football is joining this year. Those sports are going to be in the Olympics in Los Angeles 2028.
Right.
So this is kind of like their trial run. And those are, bigger sports. Obviously, football is massive. I'm actually I'm excited. I might actually watch flag football at the World Games because I want to see what it's like to watch beast athletes play flag football. Back in 2001, disc golf was in the World Games alongside Ultimate. Then disc golf got dropped from the program. I don't know why, but that was 20 years ago. It hasn't come back until now, so it's back, and thank goodness. It's been too long, and so it's I don't exactly know if I don't think they've announced the format yet.
No,
building a temp course. Honestly, it could be kind of a disaster. Let's just prepare ourselves for disaster, because I don't know, they're going to build some course in Chengdu, China.
I hope
we don't know anything about it. I don't think anybody's going to even play the course until 2 or 3 days before the tournament. So,
Charlie, have you seen the YouTube videos? Have you seen the YouTube videos for the Urban Disc Golf League where they play in shipyards and abandoned warehouses? Yeah, it's just going to be in the city. It's not even going to be out in the forest. They're going to be playing through the city.
Who knows what we're going to get? But this is an important step, and there is some buy-in, and some of the top countries are going to have really good teams. So let's go through the list. I'm going to do my best. Some of these folks, I don't really know their names, but we'll start at the top, and we'll just go in alphabetical order. So representing Australia, we've got Blake Houston and Cassie Sweeten. Representing Austria, we have Rafaela Narath and Stanislaus Aman. Representing Canada, Sophia Donachie and Thomas Gilbert.
All right.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Got some names.
Got some names. Representing China, the host country, Chenfei Zhao and Yanwen Ma.
What if China won? That'd be just players I've never heard of show up and win this entire event.
I think you're going to not expect that to happen when I continue down this list.
Oh, I won't, but that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy hype.
Representing the Czech Republic, I believe is the sort of international sport, but Czechia as well. Kristina Yurchikova and Jan Studnica. If I got that right, I'm not sure. Estonia, Kristen Latt and Silver Latt. Representing Finland, Eveliina Salonen and Nestori Tukkonen.
Okay.
I talked to Nicholas, and he was like, I blew it, man. He's like, he didn't realize that this was going to be a thing, and so he was busy or something, so he's not going to go. I know. So, but Nestori's a great player.
Nestori's a great player.
Evelina's going to carry, though, let's be honest.
Right.
Representing France, Dorian Legendre and Maria Buitrago. Representing Great Britain, Rachel Turton and Ben Holding. Representing Germany, Timo Hartmann and Vibke Jan. Representing Japan, Manabu Kajiyama and Rika Tsukamoto. Representing Latvia, Elizabeth Peksena and Rainers Balidis. Representing Lithuania, Mireta, oh my goodness, Jurge Levichuche and Gabrielis Gricius. I did my best. Representing Norway, Oyvind Jarnes and Anniken Sten.
Okay.
Representing Slovakia, Katarina Bodova. I've seen her name on leaderboards. And Tomáš Mozola. And representing the United States, Missy Gannon and Gannon Burr. So there it is. That is the lineup. I believe this is the first time this has been made public. So that's the lineup for the World Games. We don't know what the format's going to be. Some sort of doubles something. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Missy and Gannon are obviously going to be the favorites. The Gannon lineup. They played a lot together. But hey, the Finns, the Kristen and Silver, there's a bunch of teams that could do it. Even the Canadians, right?
Okay, yes, yeah. Depending on the right format.
Depends on the course. It depends on the format.
Yeah, the right format, the right course could really set up some of those other teams to play well.
So it's coming up in August. We'll see what happens with the format and all that.
Cool. Should be exciting.
Should be exciting. Discmania Challenge coming up this weekend alongside the European Championships. So obviously most of the Europeans not in the field, maybe none. And this is formerly the Des Moines Challenge. So we're in Iowa. Gannon's been a beast here.
This was so... I'll be honest. When it got renamed the Discmania Challenge, at first I was like, this feels like an odd... Like, I wonder why this one, right? Because the Discmania Challenge, wasn't that previously up in, like, Canada and as a silver event?
I think we've had a Discmania named tournament in Canada, yeah.
Yeah, it was like up right next to MVP because Ella got almost delayed coming back. That was the Discmania Challenge. So I was like I wondered, I was like, why Des Moines? Like why do you want Des Moines to be the Discmania Challenge? Especially because Des Moines has had really
That was the Discmania Open.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't remember. I get
yeah. Those aren't real naming conventions in disc golf. We just throw whatever sounds best at the end. So, but my point
invitational, even though there's no invites.
So help me, if we start doing like the Discmania Challenge presented by, Des Moines Bank Invitational, they need to stop. They need to stop. Anyways. I wondered why this tournament, because Des Moines has had really, really strong sponsorship support. It's broken records for the biggest purses for a 3-round tournament year after year, over $100,000. They have amazing support from the community. They do a really nice job, and so I was curious why this tournament. And then I realized, and you pointed it out, Charlie, why in the heck would you not sponsor Gannon Buhr's home course when you've got him featuring on your team? This tournament belongs to Discmania forever and always now, and they're going to sell so much plastic because of it.
Yeah, I mean, you think about, there is a regionality to manufacturers, right? Innova's really strong in California and the West Coast, and in the Southeast because of their base in the Charlotte area. You have, Prodigy does really well in Georgia. Yep. Discraft does really well in Michigan. Discmania they've got some, because they have had historically a Colorado presence. It's a little bit of a mess right now, but an Eagle, like there was some influence there, and I think that they can establish that Midwest base through like the tournament, the same way MVP has established a Northeast base, even though they manufacture in Michigan.
Yep.
Because they've sponsored the MVP Open, they have some high-profile players who live in the area. And now MVP feels most associated of any disc golf brand with the Northeast.
Well, and it's interesting, Charlie, because if you had asked me before, like, what's Discmania's regional pull in the U.S. outside of previously Colorado, because they closed that manufacturing.
Yeah, the warehouse there is, I believe, right? Fully closed, and it's like they're doing all their distribution from Kansas now.
So I don't know what I would have said, and it's funny, but like, Discmania could very well like start kind of challenging more Midwest for dynamic discs, but they're owned by the same company, which makes that feel real weird. But yeah, I mean, Gannon has a regional pull there that could really mean Discmania is just the Midwest brand.
Yeah. We know what we're getting. Pickard Park, really good, solid park course.
Yep.
They're going to make some solid marginal improvements to the course, I'm sure. Despite the fact that this has been a big payout tournament, it never has felt like kind of like one of the big events on tour, partly because of where it falls in the calendar.
Correct.
But it's a solid tournament.
It is.
I'm going to watch. I'm going to enjoy.
It misses because there's a lot of people who, since the European swing has become big, which is when this got added to the calendar, you're just missing players, and that's the biggest disappointing part here.
Sure, absolutely. We need to make our picks.
Yep.
But I want to review quickly our U.S. women's picks.
That's okay.
They did not do well. Let's just admit it. Let's just accept it. We tried to go for chalk. Chalk was not the move. Cadence Burge, a 5Xer, got triple points on the podium, and then doubled that for being a major. So she was a 30-point player. If you did not have Cadence, you got wrecked.
Yeah.
So shout out to Nail and April, who had Cadence, Haley, and Silva, and racked up 46 points, as Josh and I came in with our measly 5.5 points with the same players going for chalk, trying to get a perfect podium.
I guess with double points. I did not think I was getting 5 points out of this weekend. Oh,
yikes.
Man. Tough.
Very tough. Here's a crazy thing, okay? I don't know how many people entered this week. Looks like about, including us, almost 80 people played this week. And one person picked Eveliina.
Wow.
That's crazy. But it shows you, like, maybe out of sight, out of mind. Maybe because, like, course effect, we didn't think she was going to be able to do this. But, like, at what point do we need to start recognizing that when it's a major and it's a bunch of rounds, like, we need to watch out for Eveliina?
So we need a nickname. Someone we're taking applications for the nickname. And if you want to become famous, come up with a good nickname, because it seems that when we debuted on the Upshot, it sticks forever. It does. It absolutely does. So, Big Money Missy, that came here. It came from our listeners. So, send us in your suggestions for our major contender.
KJ USA, that was Jamie Thomas.
Yep, it was.
Like, this is where we make nicknames.
That's right.
All right. So, picks. Let's get our Discmania Challenge picks in.
Okay.
Let's go fast.
All right.
I'm going... I'm not going to be an idiot. I'm taking Cadence.
Fair. She will not be a 5Xer soon.
This is the last chance. We reset after this tournament.
Yep.
So, your last chance to get 5X Cadence, and she and Kat Allen have been really, really solid picks. I'm tempted to pick Katrina this weekend, to be honest. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Cadence, Katrina, and Holland. I think Holland's going to win.
Oh, okay. Time for a Holland bounce back. No Kristen, no pressure.
I mean, top 5 every time. Like, the podium odds are super high, and, like, she's the odds-on favorite, right?
Yeah, fair. I'm going for a little bit more points. I'm disappointed you took Katrina, because I already had Katrina on my picks. I have Cadence, Katrina, and then I've got Own Scoggins. I think Own, my like
4th place last year.
Yeah,
Holland was 5th. Can you remember who won in FPO?
Yeah, Emily Weatherman. And I thought about
amazing performance from Emily Weatherman.
I thought about picking Emily Weatherman, especially after this weekend, but she's had and been dealing with a lingering injury, and I'm just afraid that the back-to-back weeks, especially when she DNF'd at Preserve, I'm just a little nervous to pick her. I had her down and I took her off.
Maybe she played through the stuff last weekend, and you're worried that she's not going to be fresh.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
So, no disrespect to Emily Weatherman. I really thought about picking her, but I'm just so nervous about the injury that I couldn't do it. All right, pivoting over to MPO. Gannonburr, hi friend. Welcome to Iowa.
Lock it in.
Anthony Burrell, last year's winner. Welcome to the podium.
Lock it in.
Lastly, 5X Austin Turner took top 10 here last year, playing best disc golf of his career this year. A little bit of a limited field. No Rick, for example, this year. So I've got Austin Turner to give me some 5X points.
I love that. I don't think it's going to pay off, but I like it. I'm going to go Gannon and AB as well. I just feel like after a sort of surprising weekend, we're going to start to get back to some chalky stuff. And I also just feel like Gannon and AB are playing at a really high level right now.
Yeah. Hey, Charlie, I have a 5Xer to recommend you.
Give it to me.
Ezra Aderhold.
Stop. Just stop. Ezra Aderhold finished 37th this tournament last year.
I know, and now he's going to win it. He's going to win it this year now.
Cannot do it.
He's going to win it.
Is Hamas playing?
I didn't see Ham. Yes, he is. Yep, Hamas is playing.
I'm taking him.
All right.
Top 5 last year.
Could win it.
Why not?
Also had a good year.
Having a good season.
Yeah.
Let's hit Purse Watch. $72,025 for FPO at US Women's. That was a $923 per person purse That is number 1 on the season so far. Beats out Champions Cup. $8,500 to Eveliina for winning. And notably down 16% from last year. It was 86,470 a year ago. But tell me, Josh, was there a reduction in the field size? That's important to note.
There was by 22 players.
Wow. Not sure whether to think that means more about like the regionality of the tournament or the downturn in disc golf over the last 12 months.
I'm not sure.
I'm not either. The overall U.S. women's tournament was at a similar size this year as last.
Okay. I bet I am comfortable ascribing it to regionality. Texas, I mean, big disc golf.
For sure.
Yeah.
We'd have to do a deeper analysis to really be able to say anything, but I mean, it's a pretty significant. I mean, it's like 30% reduction in players, basically.
Honestly, only losing 16% of the purse when losing 30% of the players, not terrible. Well, I guess 25% of the players, right? Like,
yeah,
not bad. I mean, honestly,
No.
well, and again, highest per player payout of the season. So well done on the money side there for the U.S. women's.
All right. I believe that is it for
Charlie.
today's edition of the Upshot. Did I miss
It's not
something?
it. You did miss
That's
something.
not it. What'd I miss?
There was one controversy associated with U.S. women's.
Oh my God.
That is literally everywhere on the internet.
And how you can't blame people.
You can't.
I'm not really somebody who likes to get into trophy discourse,
Nope.
but like, that's not a lighthouse. This is the U.S. Women's Championship. What?
So, Charlie,
I don't even, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can infer
yeah,
what I'm talking about.
you can. If it had been painted the colors of a lighthouse, I think it has a better chance. But Charlie, here's
Listen, hang on, before you say what you're going to say.
Go ahead.
Somebody starts talking about this in the Discord in the final round, and they're like talking about the trophy. I'm like, I'm so tired of the trophy talk. Like, whatever. How bad can it be? I back up to see the get handed the trophy, and I was like, no way.
That's exactly what I did too. Oh my gosh. It's so funny because like 2 weeks ago we did a mailbag and people were like, what makes a good trophy? And we said something regional that you can put on your wall or like specific to the tournament or a nice cup, like a very traditional trophy. I revised that statement. Nice cup. That is it. It is a cup. There is nothing else. If you can't buy it for a children's soccer tournament at a trophy store, you are not allowed to give it out.
No, dude. Oh
The Pro Tour, the PDGA, they've lost trophy privileges. They don't get them anymore. They're done.
I guess it was made by Tina Oakley. Well, I'm sure I have not met Tina, but I'm sure she's a lovely person. I think maybe we've corresponded by email, and like, I don't want to be a hater, but it's just like somebody needed to say something at some point in the process before it was handed over to Eveliina on the 18th green. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, imagine if that happened in another sport. Like it's not, it's just not it. It's not it.
Oh. Okay, Charlie. That's it. I don't know how you talk about this tournament and not mention it. We had to talk about it. We had to talk.
Oh my God. Sometimes I just can't believe disc golf, man. I just can't believe it.
Remember there was a post after Preserve that was like, oh yeah, the rubber duck is the giant rubber duck is the reason why What? Go ahead.
Continue. No. It's all right.
Okay. So someone posted, "Oh, I wonder why people don't take disc golf seriously," and then they posted the rubber duck, and I'm like, "Come on, the rubber duck is fine. That is not a big deal." Now you post a picture of Eveliina holding this trophy that says the reason people don't take disc golf seriously. Now,
like, yeah, I'm all in.
I'm willing to have a conversation with you now.
I have to say, I'm kind of neutral about the big giant duck.
Sure.
It's like a little weird, but it's also sort of like an oddity that like gets people talking.
Yeah, whatever.
MVP making the Silva duck disc that like not only evokes the event, obviously, but also evokes Silva because of the like there was the picture of her and Joey Tamale inside of the duck, like stone faced like the duck. And I was like, this is great. And then they come out with this disc, and that shit sold out fast.
Yes.
Because this, how hard is it, folks? MVP is destroying these other companies by coming out with fun and interesting stamps and like disc designs. It's not even that complicated. Like when Discmania came out with the Nicholas one after he, finished Cowboy, and all they did was they put a cowboy hat on the stupid like saber-toothed cat. I'm like, what is this lazy nonsense, dude? Frustrating.
For
man.
reference, Gannon Burrs is just the bear, the preserved bear, on top of a shield that says preserve on it.
Like
you got dunked on.
I'm sure if we dug in, we would find some misses for MVP in the disc design department. No one's batting 1,000.
I'll tell you right now. I'll give you a second one. Wind Dragon 2 just dropped, Charlie. Go get your second edition. Anyways, no, you're right, but it's just.
Oh no, it's great. It's a perfect day to have a glass of wine.
I know, but I keep walking behind you. Whatever
We're in Spain. Yeah, this is my friend Josh here.
Hi, Josh.
Hi.
Hi, Josh.
Hello.
It's a perfect day for a glass of cold white wine. Cheers. Salud. A little diversion at the end of this Spanish-Mexican podcast that we're having right now.
Charlie, do you speak any Spanish?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I lived in Argentina for a year.
Okay.
I can't quite call myself fluent anymore because it's been 13 years since I have been speaking regular Spanish, but I can easily converse and get around any Spanish-speaking country. Yeah.
Google Translate and I are best friends right now, so.
That's fair. Yeah.
No.
Here, most people speak English too, but I can pretty comfortably communicate.
Similar in Cancun. Most of. Yeah. I'm in good shape. Don't worry. Yeah.
Josh, where are you staying?
One of those. So I'm with my in-laws, with my wife's family. I had no part in planning this trip. I did not know until Tuesday afternoon what time my flight was on Wednesday.
You're just rolling with it.
I'm rolling with it. I'm at one of those all-inclusive resorts. Like, we got a golf course. We got the spa. Great. I walk up and I get whatever food or drinks I want at any of the restaurants. Nice. Yeah.
It's not always what I want to do, but sometimes it's the best thing.
It's not bad. Honestly, especially because I'm about to go to Europe for 3 weeks. Like, this is a perfect, just sit around and do nothing trip. So I can, go hard in Europe and, go disc golfing a lot and, do tourist stuff.
Well, it was a great major. I really enjoyed watching it. I think if you missed it, go back and catch some of the coverage.
It was good.
It was not necessarily... we didn't really talk about this. We talked about it more in the Reacts. And get yourself a subscription. If you haven't joined the Discord, get into the Reacts. It was not the best played disc golf we've seen in FPO this season, that's for sure. I think the wind, technicality of the course,
weather,
not super smooth, weather, but compelling storylines, total change up on. I mean, it would have been boring if it had been just Kristen versus Holland, right?
No.
You're probably right. It would have been really exciting.
No, I'm not saying that this wasn't exciting, but let's not get a little crazy here. Charlie's too many Spanish beers in. He's not talking clearly anymore.
This is number 2.
Hey, it's 2 beer Charlie.
People know, real ones know that 2 beer Charlie is the perfect amount for the pod.
If you don't know, it's because you're not a subscriber. And, Charlie,
True.
Now's the time. European majors, nightly reacts.
We're doing daily reacts for every
Yes.
major, so lock in. I mean, we're about to have so much, and Josh has nothing to do but sightsee in Europe and watch disc golf.
Yep.
So we're going to put him to work over there,
It's going to be great.
and we're going to get the live. I don't know. I guess it'll be daytime for me, so we'll be able to do normal reacts while you're like in your evenings.
Yep.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
All right. Enough for today. Thanks, everybody. Sorry we're only doing one show this week, but literally it was almost like tornado conditions coming through here. I had to completely evacuate our entire live streaming setup, and so that ruined our Tuesday show. But here we are on Thursday. So thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you being with us, and we will talk to you next week following the European Championships and the Discmania Challenge. Talk to you then, everybody. And reacts this weekend.